Daf Chaf Aleph Amud Beis will begin Daf Chaf Aleph Amud Aleph, 4 lines from the bottom with the 2 dots. We learned in the Mishnah that the chametz that kol shosh mutar lechol machil b'hem l'chaya oifus, when you're allowed to eat it, when kohen is allowed to eat it, one even Israel can feed it to his animals, u'mocher l'nochri, and he can sell it to a nochri. So, frankly, more mochlin nochri pshita, it's poshut that you can sell it to a nochri. Well, of course, it's mutter to bahano. Of course, you can sell it to a nochri. What's the chiddush? Where it says la vukim mehai tana, it's to exclude the following tana, the opinion of the following tana, that is Beis Shammai. The Sanya Beis Shammai Oimrim, Beis Shammai says la yimkar adam chemsa lenochri el imken yedei shiyichal kain pesach. Beis Shammai says, when it comes the time for biur, you can't sell the chametz to a nochri unless you know it's going to be consumed prior to Pesach. Beis Hillel Oimrim kol shosh mutar lechol mutar limkar. But Beis Shammai says no, it's mutar. As long as you're allowed to eat it, you can sell it to a nochri as well. And the way the Meforshim speak out the machlokes is as follows: the Beis Shammai says the chiyuv is to be mavar the chametz, the tashbisu is to destroy it. Unless the nochri is going to consume it prior to Pesach, it's not considered consumed prior to Pesach. So you haven't been mekayim the mitzvah of tashbisu. But according to Beis Hillel, the chiyuv tashbisu is to remove it from your possession. Selling it to a goy accomplishes that, even if he's not going to consume it. So that's machlokes between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel and Rabbi Yehuda ben Masechet. He says kuta is a dip. Is a dip that had chametz in it, and it was eaten over a long period of time. It was eaten very slowly. So he says, kutach v'chol minei kutach, or types of kutach, also limkar shleishim yom penu lePesach. It's also to sell it 30 days before Pesach. So the way Rashi explains it is that Rabbi Yehuda ben Masechet is going according to Beis Shammai, and he says, therefore, that it has to be consumed before Pesach. Kutach is something that is not consumed over a short period of time, and therefore 30 days before Pesach you can't sell it to a goy because we can't assume that it will be consumed before Pesach. Prior to 30 days there's no chiyuv of bir chametz prior to 30 days. But within 30 days that there is, you can't sell it to the nochri because we cannot assume it will be consumed prior to Pesach. That's the way Rashi learns. Taisus argues, and he says no, that Rabbi Yehuda ben Masechet is going according to Beis Hillel, not Beis Shammai. But nevertheless, he says that it's also because that was something that in those days people had their personalized kutach, so to speak. There was their homemade kutach. People would know, oh, this is the kutach that so-and-so made. So if it was in the nochri's possession and it was in Pesach, then people would think that he perhaps sold it to him on Pesach, and he was over on chametz for all over Pesach. So that's why. That's why it's also to sell it to the guy, because within that period of time they'll think that he sold it to him on Pesach. That's the way Taisus says. What do we see over here? That it's saying that it's moichel nochri. You can sell it to a nochri. So this is telling you that it's mutar lafukim Beis Shammai. Beis Shammai says in this period of time you would not be able to sell it to a nochri, but the Mishnah is telling you, like Beis Hillel, that you would be able to sell it to the nochri. Mutar bahano, and it says next in the Mishnah that it's mutar bahano. Pshita, of course, it's mutar bahano. It already told you the things that you're allowed to do. You're allowed to feed it to your animals. You're allowed to sell it to a nochri. More answers like tzricha, shacharacha, kainam zmani. It's talking where the chametz was burnt, it was scorched before the zmani isser. And what's it teaching you now? And it's teaching you like Rava, Dama Rava, characha, kainam zmani. If before the zmani isser it was already burnt, the chametz was already burnt. And machlokes rishonim, what does that mean? Does that mean that it loses its surah, it loses its appearance, the way Rashi's mashma, that it's not recognizable anymore? Or does it mean that it's more than that, it's nifsa ma'achilas kelab, that even a dog wouldn't eat it? It's even burned more than that. It's burned to the extent that even a dog wouldn't eat it. But Rava says that if it was Charach Zmana, Mutar Bahana, Afilu Lachar Zmana. It's Mutar Bahana even after the Shas Yisr, even after the onset of the 6th hour. So it's telling you Mutar Bahana, it's Mutar Bahana in this case. If it was burnt before the Zmana Yisr, it's Mutar Bahana, it is Mutar then even after the Shas Yisr. There are shitas that hold the Ran and others that hold that it's even mutar ba'achila, even though Rav only said hana, but it's even mutar ba'achila. Others hold that no, it's only hana, but achila would be also. Then the Mishnah says, over zmana also b'hana also, when the time has passed, then it's also b'hana. In fact, more pshita. Well, of course, it's only mutar, it says it's mutar during that zman. When it's mutar a kohen to eat it, it's mutar for hana. So that's by implication. Afterwards, it's also b'hana, pshita. Rashi is not good as pshita because Rashi says it's not pashut because there is a shita of Yosef Glili that holds that it is mutar b'hana even during Pesach. So therefore, he's not good as pshita. But al kol panim, we can see from it, we can infer from our Mishnah that our Zmana also Bahana also, that it is also Bahana. So what is the Mishnah coming to teach us with this? The more answer, Lo Tzricha L'Shos Rabbanan. It's teaching us that during the Shos Isser Rabbanan, meaning the height of the 6th hour, even though it says Sha'os, and we're talking only about the 6th hour, the Rishayim struggle with that. But what we're referring to is the 6th hour. Shows perhaps could mean the 5th hour, which is also midrabanan ba'achila, but the 6th hour is also b'hana, and it's telling you, it's teaching us over here that in the 6th hour there is an isur, even though it is only an isur d'Rabbanan. For the following halacha, the Amar of Gidol Amar of Chia Bar Yosef Amar of Yechanan Hamekanish Mishei Shos L'mal. If a person is mekanish and isha with chometz from the 6th hour on, now even though that is only an isha d'Rabbanan, the 6th hour is as a shol d'Rabbanan, but if he's mekanish and isha with chometz, afilu b'chitu kuranaisa, even with wheat, which is very difficult to become chometzdik. It's very difficult to become chometz because it ferments, and it becomes very slowly and with great difficulty becoming chometz because it's very hard. But if he is mekadosh sheshel, even with chita kurdanai, so the way Rashi is learning it is, however, it did come into contact with water, and there's a suffix whether it is chometz. Nevertheless, ein choshim l'kedushin, even though it's only the 6th hour, and even though it's chita kurdanai, we're not choshish for the kedushin. The way Rashi is learning it, we're not choshish for the kedushin because called the mekadosh adaita the Rabbana mekadosh. Now, even though under the right tzedikah level it's mutar b'hana, that we're talking over here only on the Shas Yisr. On the Deraisa level, it's mutar. We're talking here rather on the Shas Yisr D'Rabbanan, the beginning of the 6th hour. Now on the Deraisa level, it's mutar till the end of the 6th hour. So you might think that it's a valid kedusha because on the Deraisa level, he's giving her, the man is giving to the woman something that has value, that has hana. Nevertheless, we say over here, since the Rabbanan Asr, and when a person's mekadosh and she's mekadosh al das al tanai that the Rabbanan are nicha with the kedushin, they want the kedushin, they asred it b'hana, so therefore the kedushin is not valid. It's considered that the kedushin has been uprooted. So the chiddush over here is teaching us the Mishnah of Zmana also b'hana, and therefore it's also b'hana, and if he's mekadosh, even on the shos, the Rabbanan, we're not chayshesh for this kedushin. And that's the way Rashi learns it, that the basis of it is called the mekadosh. Others learn that that's not the reason that they're named Chayshim L'Kedushin. That ain't Chayshim L'Kedushin because, in fact, L'Maisa, he's giving her nothing of value. It doesn't make a difference if it's Midoraisa, also B'Hana, Midorabanan, it's also B'Hana. There's nothing of value. She cannot get hana from it. So therefore, he's given her nothing of value. So the Kedushin, Mamela, is not a Kedushin. He hasn't given her anything. But that's the chiddush of the Mishnah, that it's also b'hana, and we're not choishesh for the kedushin even in the 6th hour. He cannot use it on the Shas Yisr. He cannot use it as fuel for his tanner, his stove, his oven, or his stove. In fact, the more pshita, of course, it's also b'hana. How could he use it as fuel? Gemara answers Lo Tzricham. The Rabbi Yehuda, it's going even according to Rabbi Yehuda, who said Ein Bir Chametz Ela Sreifa, that the chametz has to be burnt. So now in this 6th hour, you must burn this chametz. Sal Gadai Techamin. I might think Hol Vam Rabbi Yehuda Mitzvah Sreifa that you're doing the mitzvah of burning it. And now, since this is the beginning of the 6th hour, the Isser is only an Isser D'Rabbanan. I might have thought, I might have thought, since he's in the process of doing the mitzvah, that the Rabbanan would be matir. It would be matir. No, since the whole Isser is only Isser D'Rabbanan, you might have thought the Rabbanan would be matir in this situation. Kamash Milan, that no, that it's lo yasik b'taner v'kirayim. Now the Gemara is going to go into a general discussion. We're talking all along now that the chametz is aser b'hana. How do we know that the chametz is in fact aser b'hana? How do we know that chametz on Pesach is aser b'hana? Shenemar lo ye'achal chametz. The Torah says lo ye'achal. It doesn't say lo yoichal. The normal lashon is, in the pasuk when it answers achila, it says lo yoichal. Here it says lo ye'achel, lo yehei boy heter achila, which means there should be no heter achila, nothing that could even lead to achila. Meaning that if you have something that's mutar b'hana, well, you can sell it, and with the proceeds you can buy food with it. That's the common thing that you would buy with it. Now, if it would be mutar b'hana, it could lead to eating. Therefore, the Torah says, Lo ye'achel chametz. Not only that you cannot eat it, it can't even be something which could lead to achila, to eating. That is hana. It's also b'hana, meaning you can't sell it and use the proceeds to buy food. So this shinu el lashon, this unusual lashon, Lo ye'achel, is coming to teach us that it's also b'hana. So, Taima, the reason is Amar Chana lo ye'achal chametz. But haloi kosav lo ye'achal avamina isra achila mashma isra noli mashma. So, according to Chizkiah, the reason why we say isra hana over here, because it uses this unusual lashon lo ye'achal, which implies had it not said lo ye'achal, it was just said lo yoichal, it would not be asr b'hana, it would only be asr b'achila. Now that is in disagreement with Rabbi Avo. Rabbi Avo, he says, Kol malkim shenemar lo yoichal lo yisoichal lo yisoichlo. He says any of these common lashonos of lo yoichal, the when it answers achila, when it uses in that lashon lo yoichal lo yisoichal lo yisoichlo, any of these lashonos, echad isra achila, the echad isra na mashma, it's mashma, and all of these lashonos that even hana would be asr. Until we see that the Torah says specifically that it's mutar, like it says by the case of the nevela. In the case of the nevela, the Torah specifically says it's mutar b'hana, that you can give it or you can sell it. There we say that it's mutar b'hana, but otherwise, a lashon of achila, not only lo ye'achal, a lashon of achila is also mashma Isser hana, not only achila, Isser hana. Nisanya, where do we see this? It says, it says, by nevela. And there it says, but what can you do with the nevela? You can give it to the ger. You can give it to the ger taishav, who has his Mekayim Zayin Mitzvahs B'nai Noach, but not the Isra Nevela. You can give it to the Ger Taishav or sell it to a Nochri. So here the Torah says that it's mutar b'hana, but otherwise he holds that a lashon of achila is mashma and isra hana. Here it says it's mutar b'hana, but otherwise it's mashma and isra hana. Now the Gemara goes, the Brisa in analyzing these opinions of the by nevela, where it says that it's over here by nevela it's mutar, that in what manner, now we're digressing to discuss nevela, in what manner is it mutar? So the Torah says that you give it to the ger or sell it to the nochri. Ainly ela leger ben asina. I only know that it's mutter to give it as a matana for free. To give it as a matana to the ger toish. Ola nochri b'mechira, or alternatively to sell it to a nochri. Leger b'mechir minayin. How do I know that I can even sell it to a ger toish? Talmud loimer leger asher b'sherecha tidnana oy mocher. Now the way the pasuk is structured, it doesn't say that in the pasuk that you can give it to the ger. It says the way that ordered the pasuk is, it doesn't say give it to the ger. It says lager asher. It says kol lager asher b'sharecha titnena va'achla oy machal nachri. So you could read it as lager asher b'sharecha titnena va'achla oy machar. You could read the word oimachar together with the ger. If it had said that in the pasuk tidnena lager v'sharecha, then you would not be able to attach it the oimachar to the ger. But since it says in the pasuk, it says lager v'sharecha tidnena v'achla oimachar lenachri, you can learn oimachar connected to lager v'sharecha tidnena. You can connect it to the ger. So therefore the ger could be b'nesina or b'mechir. So therefore you can do both. L'nochri, in fact, the Gemara l'nochri b'nesina minayin. How do I know that a nochri can you give it to him, not only sell it to him, you can also give it to him? Talmud loima titnana v'achla oimachar l'nochri. Again, you can read these words together with and both of them together with the Nachri. Titnena va'achal and machal Nachri. So you can read the Titnena as attached to the earlier part of the pasuk to the ger, or you can also read it connected to the latter part of the pasuk, Titnena va'achal or machal Nachri. That to the Nachri you can either give it or sell it to the Nachri. Nimsas aimer. Therefore you can say, from here, you can conclude that echad ger ve'echad nachri bein b'mechir bein b'nesina di Ramer. That's Ramer said that therefore you can do either which. That's the way Ramer learns, that you can either way. With a ger, it can be given or sold, and similarly to a nachri. Rav Yehuda says no, you do not have the option. Dvarim kiksavan. It's the way it is literally. Like ger b'nesina v'nachri b'mechira. It's davke. Lager has to be given, not sold. And a nachri sold and not given as a present. My time, reflecting more, my time is Rav Yehuda. Why does he say it's Dvarim Kiksalvan? Because he says, if you would hold like Ramer says, then if you want to learn like Ramer, that you can connect both parts of the pasuk, that you can connect the ger to Titnena and giving it and selling, then it should say Titnena v'achla umocha. Oy lomali, oy is an alternative. So why does it say or? Shema mino l'dvarim k'chsaven. That it's davke to the ger, it's Titnena, oy, or alternatively, sell it to a nochri. Mary says, why does it say oy? He says, oy lahaktem nesina de ger lemechir de nochri. He says that no, it says oy because it's an alternative. It's not all things being equal. Yes, you can do either one, but the priority, the precedence has to be given to nesina to ger and not a mechir, and a mechir to nochri, not a nesina. That should be where you give precedence. That's why it says oy. Rav Yehuda, holy, so Rav Yehuda says, no, the pasuk would not have to say oy for that reason. I would know that from a svara. Because kevan the ger al tamid suvelach yoisa, the ger, you have to support it. V'nochri al tamid suvelach yoisa, but a nochri, you are not obligated to support it. Leitzorah kro, you don't need a pasuk, svarahu, and therefore he says, dvarim kiksova. Al kopanim, but we do see from here that the opinion is that whenever it says that a lashon of achila, that achila is that it's mashma both isra achila and isra hana. That's what Rav Avo says, unless you see like the pasuk says by nevela, where it specifically says that it's mutter b'hana. Otherwise, any lashon of achila is mashim both achila and hana, which is in disagreement with what Chizkiah says, that it's only over here because the Torah says lo yeh ochel.